What's going on, you guys? It's Kojin here. Today we're going to be talking about Beastkeeper for global. Really, we're just going to go over the skill points and whatnot just to kind of get you guys in the right direction over there. I do understand that the way that the game plays is totally different from KR. It's a lot slower. You end up needing a lot more skills early on. And today we're just going to really talk about what priority skills you want to level to make the best of your leveling adventures. So let's go ahead and let's start with that. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and just talk about these skills in particular. Really, I'm just going to go ahead and just tell you in exact order how to raise these things and usually what I would do going with these skills. So first things first, usually I would wait a few levels before I even think about this, but usually I would go ahead and level these two skills here. These two skills will give you critical rate and critical damage, or attack and critical rate, one of the two. I just know for sure that you need to raise these two. I know that +9 critical rate is massive because they don't really have a lot of ways to get that specific stat in this game, so it's really good to get your hands on those two. And then these can kind of just come later. These are HP and MP ups. They just simply increase the amount of HP and MP you have by a percentage. I wouldn't really worry too much about these early on either. I would use those skill points to try and get as good offensive skills as possible. HP is nice. I would definitely prioritize the HP over the MP, but of course it is dependent upon your situation. If you're a mage, you're probably going to need MP a little bit early, but of course we will get to that point as we can. But as an archer, what I would do is that I would probably prioritize the HP if you really do need it. I would just level up a few times, max out the HP skills. They're not necessarily cheap, but you know, you got to have them. That's 5% HP right there, and then you know there's another 1% right there, so it's something that you just need to have in general. I would definitely have those there. Another thing, people are going to ask me what this skill is. As you can see, I don't unlock it until I hit level 625, so we'll have a conversation about this a little bit later. This is something that really most KR players are working towards right now. Literally, there is like a leveling rush for people to level 600. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's get into the base job. So with the base job, we're just going to go ahead and just kind of talk about it from the top. I made a little growth guide not too long ago. I do want to go ahead and open up the doc so that way that you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about here. All right, so here we go. This is our little document here. We're going to go ahead and just kind of flip back and forth between the two. But another thing that I did want to go ahead and talk about is just kind of like the priority in which skills kind of want to be added into your thing. This is really the biggest thing about the WonderKing skill points, because there aren't free skill resets in this game at all. You're going to have to really work to your skill resets. You're going to have to save up guild raid coins whenever the guild raid coins come out in any. And outside of that, I think that there's also some in the cash shop, or you will just simply have to wait to give them out from events and compensation, which you know that can sometimes take some time. So I'm not going to really call that a way to get that item in specific, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's get into this. Let's talk about the base job real quick. Let's talk about the ranger. We're going to go ahead and move this back over here, and let's just talk about our skills real quick. Let's go ahead and let's move locations as well. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into the archer spread here. The archer spread's going to be real interesting, actually. We're going to go ahead and just start. Like I said, we already talked about the base job skills, so let's go ahead and let's hop over here. Base job skills, like I said earlier, just max these two as a priority, and then I would just go for HP here. Mana will definitely come later. As you can see, I do have it, so just worry about this as a low priority later. Base job, let's go ahead and let's get into this. So right now, as you can see, it's going to be a bit different at late game because you eventually will probably skill reset, so that way you can maximize what you were trying to maximize. But what I would do for right now is just kind of hang out. I would go with our first job skill. I would try to max this out, get as much damage out of this. Then we would definitely skip this. We're going to go 5 out of 5 here, 5 out of 5 here. These two would just be filler skills. Not that they're bad skills, it's just that they're lower damage skills, so they don't necessarily give you more as you level up the skills, so you don't really want to invest too much into them, if that makes sense. So that way, as you can see here, it only gives you 10% per level up. You want to go for the skills that give you much more than that, such as Shine Impact here. Now, Shine Impact will give you damage at its final max out, so you definitely want to max out skills like that. Another skill you want to max out is Black Machine Gun. I would only go 14 out of 15 on this one. For some reason, there's a visual bug in KR. I'm not too sure if this exists in any, but I would definitely just go 14 out of 15 here. You would get 450 damage on a multi-hit skill, which is phenomenal. Definitely would do that. Another thing that I would do here is also get Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire will be another skill that would be nice to max out, and this one also gives you damage per level up to 15 levels, so you can do the math there to see how much damage that does. Trimmer and Wind Arrow JR, I would definitely skip these two. Just 5 out of 10 those, so that way you can get access to these two skills here. And then Backstep, I would put 1 out of 5 there. And then Spirit of the Sharpshooter, I would definitely max it out, as it gives you a good attack boost. This one also, marksmanship power, increases your damage by 10%. We'll grab that. Ocean wind increases your hit rate by 5, so you definitely want to max that skill. Rapid fire cancel, we would skip, and then backstep cancel I would definitely get, but it's a low priority. Here in KR, people don't really use it as much, but in NA, I could see where there would be a use case for this, because you could actually dodge and evade some enemy skills and still be able to get your hit off by just distancing and zoning properly. So I would definitely look into that for sure. All right, so next up we've got our first jobs. Here in the first jobs tab, what I would do is I would max out all the active job skills. So all the 1 second skill, which is rain arrow, wind arrow, and spirit arrow. I would definitely max out these 2 skills. Spirit arrow, I would probably wait, because this is a 1 target skill, usually really good for bosses later on. I would probably use this as a low priority, so I wouldn't go max out for this one, but I definitely would max out wind arrow. It is excellent for slowing down mobs, pushing them back a little bit while doing really good damage. 130% doesn't really seem like a lot, but that's per hit, so that's normally a really huge chunker right there for damage. As you can see, the real damage comes from spirit arrow, but it's okay. We'll talk about that later on. Next up, as far as skill build here, I would definitely go leaf shield. Leaf shield is very good. Arrow of nature, also I would max this skill out. This one gives you another increase in damage. Potion plus, there isn't a use case really for this one in KR, but in NA this is a massive boost for archers. So now we can heal ourselves without having to use as many resources compared to other classes. This is massive. This is something that you want to invest in early on, but as time goes forward, you might want to deduce from, because, you know, as the full auto potions come out and things like that, things will definitely change in the meta. But for right now, this skill is an absolute must for Beastkeepers. The investment amount, I usually would say max out, but considering how expensive it can get, costing you 15 points, that might not be something you are interested in general. So I'm gonna allow for you guys to balance that one out on your own. But for the most part, if I was to be leveling up, I would probably use this over, you know, probably investing a lot into leaf shield early on, so that way that I could literally spend a lot of my time through healing and doing damage with my 1 sec skill, compared to just doing damage via leaf shield and standing in one spot. That's really all I had to say about first jobs. But moving on to the next job, this is probably my favorite job on the class, simply because of Wolf Spirit. I love Wolf Spirit. Wolf Spirit pretty much pushes all the enemies back while doing insane amounts of damage as your 1 second skill. As you can see here, 228% is pretty decent for a 1 second skill. That's really all I have to say about that. Next up, we've got Earth Bear. This is more of a bossing skill, so if you can, just try to use as little points as possible. I think you need to have this at 10 out of 15 to be able to reach Phoenix Shot, which, speaking of Phoenix Blast, this is a slow, but it is a mobbing skill, and also great with high damage. So this is something that you should also look into maxing out. As far as your passives go, always max out your passives first before you do your actives in this case. So I would do 10 out of 15 for your 1 second skill, then I would circle over to your passives to max out your passives. So in this case, we have Eagle Spirit, which summons an eagle that does 1,000 damage per 3 second interval. And then we have Spirit of the Forest Fairy, which summons 2 fairies that give you attack increase and a 1% evasion increase. And then we have Master of the Spirits, or Spirit Mastery, which increases your attack power by 100%. And this is probably the skill that you want to max out first on this build. So as I would say, we would go 10 out of 15 here. Then I would max out this skill. Then I would come to Forest Fairy, max that out. Then I would probably max out Thunder Eagle after that, going into Bear, Phoenix. Last but not least is final jobs. I know most people right now in current WonderKing are not here, but this is something that a lot of people are looking forward to, because especially as an archer, you have priority of mobbing pretty much on any map. If you're looking to KS, if you're looking to be evil, this is something that you might want to listen up to. Next up, we have Tempest. Tempest is literally the best mobbing skill in the game, hands down. It's not even a competition. I don't know why people act like there's a competition sometimes, that it's not. When you get to this point, literally you will out DPS and out EXP just about every other class in the game. But of course, it has its nicks and knacks. It's not nearly as strong as most other 1 second skills, meaning that you have to be a bit stronger than most people would be in certain areas. So as you get later in the game, your cost to use this class and to have excellent mobbing is to exceed the combat power that usually other classes wouldn't need, so that way that you can mob in certain areas. So it's a little unfortunate, but it's a double-edged sword. By the time that you reach that point, you will be having the EXP rate of people who are 2 or 3 maps ahead of you, if that makes sense. So with this skill here, it's something that you might really want to pay attention to. Tempest overall is something that you definitely want to max out and increase the power overall for it. Unfortunately, as you level it up, it only gets like +2 skill attack per level, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Next up, we have Grizzly Bear Strike. This is another one of my favorites, or Burning Bare Knuckle. It depends on how it got translated. I actually didn't check it out, but this skill also very super vital. Hits 2 platforms. It can act as a mobbing skill, and also it is your ultimate, or one of your ultimates I should say, so it will take a long time to recharge alongside with Thunder Eagle Strike. Thunder Eagle Strike also hits 2 platforms, so it can be used as a mobbing skill in the long run, but of course it had very long cooldown. So what usually people would suggest is to level your 1 second skill to 10-15, then max out your passive. Speaking of passives, we got Beast Formation, which will give you an invisibility iframe, +15 critical damage, +10 crit chance for 10 seconds. Next up, we've got Force of Nature, which is what I suggest to max out first. Gives you max HP increase of 25%, 100% attack power, and 15 evasion. Definitely something that you want to max out ASAP. And then last but not least, we have Vortex Shot that gives +5 critical rate. Definitely want to max this out alongside of Force of Nature. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole Beastkeeper build. Next up, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about its burst damage chart. So really what you're going to see here is pretty much how the class is designed to work, and pretty much we're going to go ahead and break this all down. So essentially what you're going to be doing is using your strongest skills first. This is pretty much how every skill or every class operates in this game. Pretty much you want to go from strongest to weakest skills, using your 1 second skills last when you're bossing. So this becomes super important, is the structure of how you set up your hotkeys. So let's go ahead and let's set up our hotkeys real quick. First off, we're going to go Spirit of the Sharpshooter, Leaf Shield, Thunder Eagle, Forest Fairy, Beast Possession or Formation, Thunder Eagle Strike, Burning Bare Knuckle. Now due to the timing on this skill, Beast Possession, you're going to find that you won't have enough time to use Phoenix Blast, so most people will just alt over to Earth Bear instead. So usually what your burst window would look like is Beast Possession into Thunder Eagle Strike, into Burning Bear Claw, Burning Knuckle, into Earth Bear, Phoenix Shot, Wind Arrow, Spirit Arrow, Tempest, Wolf Bear Attack, or Wolf Spirit, excuse me. Man, I can't speak today. Anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much how this class will be used in a nutshell. So pretty much, as you can see, we will go ahead and we will start buffing here. Pretty much within this buffing phase, one thing that you have to realize that's super important is that you only have 10 seconds to get off your burst. So as soon as you let off the formation, the beast formation, you want to go ahead and get off all of your skills. And as soon as you get off that 3rd skill, you'll realize that your burst window just stopped. And then before you actually start up your skills again, what I would do is go Leaf Shield again into Phoenix Shot, and then from there we would just use our lower damage skills, which will pretty much be what recharge as you're bossing. So this is pretty much how you would end up fighting for the most part while you're bossing, and of course you would have to dodge and weave and, you know, worry about the damage that the boss is dealing and whatnot, but that's typically your average boss cycle with Beastkeeper. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little guide. It was just something small to put together. Hopefully you guys understood it. I know I talk a lot and I yap sometimes, but this is pretty much going to be the official NA guide that I'm going to be putting out, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. It'll pretty much get you in the right direction while leveling to 200, and also I just wrote a little bit of a guide and put it in the Discord as well, so if you're looking for that, go ahead and check that out. But don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, check out the Reddit, check out the WonderKing Discord, and all that other good stuff. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys around.